There are some videos that I've made where I'm really, really mad. Auston Matthews' season's over. And in the context of everything that's happened in this season, you honestly probably look at Auston Matthews as maybe you shut him down anyways prior to this situation. But because of Radko Gudas, absolute garbage, you're not going to argue with me on this one. You're just not. The evidence is there. He's injured two of the best hockey players in the world over the last month or so. And I actually can't believe there's real human beings that are trying to debate the intent and the action here. I have a lot of respect for hockey, the National Hockey League. I know a lot of people that work for the National Hockey League, and I have a lot of respect for people that work in the league. There's a lot of great departments in the National Hockey League, but the Department of Player Safety is an absolute joke. It needs to be overhauled. George Parros, go down to Aruba and stay there, buddy. Zero respect. That guy was hitting heads so many times. He probably has so much fog in his brain. He doesn't even know what's left and right. He doesn't know what's right and wrong. He doesn't know what player safety is. He was on the wrong end of player safety himself multiple times, that he does not know what's going on. You would think he would see a player in a vulnerable position like that and really throw the book. Radko Gudas. Let's talk about this statement from Auston Matthews, Judd Mulhaver. In light of the obvious severity of the play, I'm very disappointed and shocked that the league would allow for such a ruling. A phone hearing and 5 games is just laughable and preposterous. While the hearing process is prefixed in our CBA, that there was no further discipline is a reckless and ridiculous position for player safety. The decision results in a further loss of confidence in the disciplinary process for all players. But yeah, the disciplinary process has been a joke this year in general. He says players and fans deserve better. The player safety department should be suspended. And yeah, to confirm, Auston Matthews, if you guys see the statement, is done for the year. Sustained a grade 3 MCL tear and quad contusion. He'll miss the remainder of the 2025-2026 season. So, regardless of what the Toronto Maple Leafs are, it really doesn't matter. I'll give this context for anybody that's trying to debate. If you're a fan perspective here. If you're a Golden Knights fan, Jack Eichel out for the season. If you're a Montreal Canadiens fan, Cole Caulfield or Nick Suzuki out for the season. That is what we are talking about here. That is the equivalent of what we are talking about here. If you're an Avs fan, McKinnon out for the year. The Wild. Kaprizov out for the year. Edmonton, Connor McDavid out for the year. That's what you're outraged by. That is what you're pissed by. One of the best players in the league, in the world. A blatant injury, a blatant knee. And 5 games. You know what? I said it was minimum 5 games before knowing the extent of Matthews' injury. And that will play a part in this. And the Department of Player Safety giving a phone hearing, calling the guy. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? A guy that has 20 plus game suspensions on his belt. You're kidding me. A phone call. A phone hearing. You were out of your mind. I've lost so much respect for so many people, man, in this process. It's actually, it's insane. You should be losing your mind because this could happen to your favorite player next. And I'm not even saying Auston Matthews is my favorite player. He plays for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's the captain. He is one of the best players in the world. One of the faces of USA hockey. You should be outraged by this. Remember when Sam Bennett did this to Matthew Nyes? No response? Yeah, folks. That's for sure a hip check. You have doorknobs on X. But this is from Chris Johnson here. This is the big one here. Prior to the 5-game suspension ruled on Radko Gudas here. Radko Gudas' rap sheet tells its own story. 21 games of suspensions in his career, costing him more than $750,000 in his salary. How do you not look at that and hand him the book? Jason Spezza, who had no history, got 6 games. That's a hip check for sure. You know what? Some people really failed with their students in anatomy class with basic body parts. We're talking about a hip check here. Okay, buddy. Have some shame. I'm getting to the point where I can't support something like this. At a league level, there are so many different issues and things that we can complain about and whine about, whether it's the playoff format, whether it's best on best hockey. We've talked about so many different things. This is the health and safety of players, the best players. Frankly, any player, but we're talking about one of the best players. And we're basically saying a guy who has a history of over 20 games of suspensions, which is well above the norm, should only get 5 games for a star player in this league being done for the rest of the season with over 15 games to still be played. When I saw this, my blood was boiling to a crazy degree. A telephone hearing. I'll put it this way, one more time. I don't care if you're a Ducks fan. I don't care if you're a Habs fan. I don't care who you're a fan of. If you are not on the same page here, don't be a hypocrite. If this happens to your favorite player, don't be a hypocrite. Have overall empathy and understanding and just general passion for the game and realize how wrong this is on so many levels. Team USA won Olympic gold. Deserved. You throw respect on that. But that same scum, Radko Gudas, knocked out Sidney Crosby from that tournament. And then you move into the National Hockey League, and in the most blatant, open ice, led with his knee, guy on the ground, out for the season, and you give him 5 games. There's some people that are truly inept here. There's some people that are truly incapable of being in their roles when it comes to player safety. If you're not angry, there's a problem here. If you truly care about this game and care about this league and you're not angry by this, there is something wrong with you. I'm not going to be like some people and saying, go target some of the guys on the Ducks. That's not where my head's at. That's a different problem. That's a culture problem for this team. That's a different conversation for a different day. The conversation here is one of the most important departments in the National Hockey League is a complete and utter disaster. And this right here should be number 1 star evidence of why this offseason, I don't care about no CBA, I don't care about no contractual agreements, I don't care about that shit. The players need to speak up. People need to speak up. People with platforms need to talk about this and talk about how there needs to be change. This cannot continue. If you think I'm overreacting, I don't care if he's still got 5 games. I don't care if he's forfeiting serious salary. A telephone hearing. You know what kind of message that sends? One final time. I'm repeating myself, but it needs to be said as many times as it needs to be said. Your favorite player, out for the last 15 to 20 games of the season. The best player on your team, out for 15 to 20 games of the end of the season. Protecting all players, yes. The faces of the league? That should be a priority for the National Hockey League. Auston Matthews. And you give Radko Bum Gudas, an absolute bum. Guy who doesn't know where he's going. 5 games. Sickening. keep being vocal about it, everybody. Keep being vocal about it. Like I said, I love this league. That's why I'm pissed about it. If you don't understand, then you're not paying attention. This is a disgrace what happened here. How this was handled on so many levels, this is a disgrace. I'll leave it at that. Drop your comments.